Police raid nets 1.5 tons of drugs. No influenza A outbreak in Kelantan. Thanks for joining us here on News on 2. I'm Bradley Paul. Now, police have seized approximately 1.5 tons of drugs worth 144.9 million ringgit in a series of raids on Monday. Now, Inspector General Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Bador said 9 people, 7 local men, a local woman and an Indonesian woman were arrested in the raids conducted by the Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department NCID in Sentul, Kepung, Selayang on Monday.
He said the NCID team raided a house in South Lake Terraces, Desa Park City, followed by an apartment in Residency Satu Utara at Jalan Ipoh and a condominium at West Side 1 Desa Park City between 8 p.m. on Monday and 1 a.m. on Tuesday.
Dan keseluruhannya berat dadah yang dirampas 1,534 kilogram atau lebih kurang 1.5 tan dengan nilai anggaran di bawah street value dia iaitu 144.9 juta ringgit.
Speaking at the police training center, Pulapol, Tan Sri Abdul Hamid said the drugs could have supplied 6.5 million addicts. He said 400,330 ringgit worth of syndicate's assets, including a Toyota Velfire, cash in different denominations and jewelry, and 2 pistols along with several 9mm bullets were seized. Tan Sri Abdul Hamid added that 2 of the suspects detained have past drug-related criminal records and said that all of the suspects have been remanded until the 20th of January. The country's top cop said the successful bust is the first time the police managed to target a drug wholesaler responsible for importing drugs to be marketed locally and overseas.
Now, the Royal Malaysian Customs Department has crippled attempts by a syndicate to smuggle white cigarettes and stolen vehicles at 3 locations in Pelabuhan Klang recently. The consignments were valued at 1.8 million ringgit with unpaid taxes amounting to 12.5 million ringgit.
Central Zone Custom Assistant Director General Dato' Zulkarnain Muhammad Yusof said during the first operation on the 4th of December last year, said the department had crippled an attempt to smuggle out 2 stolen vehicles with value estimated at 300,000 ringgit. He said the syndicate had declared the items as pipe equipment to be exported to Japan, while on the 7th and 13th of January, the department had confiscated 2 40-foot containers consists of white cigarettes worth 1.5 million ringgit. He said the contents were declared as mixed goods such as phone accessories, shoes and joss paper. Following the operation, a custom agent and 2 local container lorry drivers were detained to assist investigation. Several other custom agents involving in container importations were also being investigated.
2 friends were charged at the Georgetown Sessions Court in Pulau Pinang today with robbing over 231,000 ringgit in front of a bank last month. K. Dharmendran, 37, and R. Nagendran, 21, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge which was read to them before Judge Nur Salha Hamzah.
According to the charge sheet, both are alleged to have used the gun to rob a security officer, resulting in a loss of 231,879 ringgit 15 cents, belonging to SRT Eon Security Services Sendirian Berhad. The offences was charged under Section 395, 397 of the Penal Code, which carries a jail term of 20 years or caning if found guilty. Nur Salha then allowed 15,000 ringgit bail with 1 surety each and imposed an additional condition that they have to report to the nearest police station every month. She also fixed the 20th of February for mentioned pending document submission. It was reported that a man snatched a bag containing money in front of the bank before escaping on a motorcycle with his accomplice mid last month. A security guard was injured in the process after being hit by a pistol-like object before they fled the scene.
The trial against restaurant owner B. Subramaniam, who was charged for allegedly supporting the terrorist group Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, or LTTE, was set on the 2nd of November in Kuala Lumpur High Court. Judge Muhammad Zaini Mazlan set the date after hearing the application from the prosecution to set a new trial date.
The application by the defense lawyer to get an earlier date was rejected by Judge Muhammad Zaini as the court has a tight schedule. The trial is scheduled to last for a month with at least having 12 witnesses to provide statements. The case management is set on the 25th of March. Previously, Subramaniam was accused to support the terrorist group LTTE using the Facebook application.
Meanwhile, at the same court, another accused, former chief executive officer of a corporation as Chandru, pleaded not guilty when the charges against him were read after his case was transferred from the Sessions Court.
However, the courts then set 29th of January for case remention after defense lawyer Ram Kapal Singh informed the court that they are still waiting for decision regarding the bail applied by the accused under Section 13 of the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012 SOSMA. Previously, on the 29th of October last year, Chandru was accused for possessing several items related to the LTTE terrorist group in his handphone in Kampung Bukit Balai, Alor Gajah.
Here's a better story. No influenza A case is detected in Kelantan thus far. Now, State Health Director Datuk Dr. Zaini Hussein, however, said the department would continue to monitor the situation and take preventive measures.
He said this includes conducting a health screening at the Stage 3 entry points along Malaysia-Thailand border, namely Rantau Panjang, Pengkalan Kubur and Bukit Bunga.
Jadi alhamdulillah setakat ini kalau dilihat dari konteks di Kelantan ini kita tidak ada wabak yang berkaitan dengan perkara tersebutlah. Walau macam mana pun kita sentiasa berwaspada dalam perkara ini. Dan kita juga disebabkan kita bersempadan dengan Thailand. Sebenarnya kita sebelum ini pun kita telah ada kerjasama antara negeri-negeri yang bersempadan termasuk juga Kelantan dengan Orang Tewat. Jadi kita sentiasa juga bertukar maklumat sekiranya ada isu-isu bukan saja berkaitan dengan isu influenza tetapi juga isu-isu kesihatan yang lain.
He was met after visiting a health screening center at the Immigration, Customs, Quarantine and Security ICQS complex in Rantau Panjang.
Now, the Election Commission EC said as of yesterday, only 2 election offences have been recorded in the Kimanis parliamentary by-election process since the campaign began after the nomination on the 4th of January. The EC said the offences were recorded by its by-election campaign enforcement team during their surveillance throughout the 11 days of the campaign and have also been acted upon.
In a statement posted on their Twitter page today, EC said one of the offences is related to the installation of campaign material at public premises by one of the contesting parties and the other is related to the installation of campaign material outside the Kimanis parliamentary constituency, also by one of the contesting parties. Apart from that, the EC said 16 police reports had also been made as of yesterday. Meanwhile, reports of other offences, including the utterance and slanderous remarks, had also been lodged to the police, but no report of corruption was lodged to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission so far. As of yesterday, a total of 63 ceramah and programs held related to the by-election have been monitored. The Kimanis by-election is set on the 18th of January, which sees a straight fight between Datuk Karim Bujang of Barisan and Datuk Muhammad Alamin of Barisan Nasional.
Now, Pongal is not a religious event or festival. Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Deo said it is an event marking the end of the harvest season as well as success or abundance.
In his Facebook posting, he noted that the festival has long been celebrated in Malaysia. Pongal, he said, should be viewed as an event for the society to strengthen their ties, respect culture and promote unity and nation building.
Still to come, Malaysia's GDP growth seen at 4.2% to 4.4% this year. Welcome back. Malaysia's gross domestic product is expected to be within the range of 4.2% to 4.4% this year, according to OCBC Chief Economist and Head of Treasury Research and Strategy, Selena Ling. She is, however, a little bit cautious as 4.8% is a bit challenging, as it makes the assumption that there will be no further escalation between the US and China.
Briefing reporters at OCBC's 2020 Economic Outlook briefing this morning, she noted that if China is more stable, then there will be a follow-on effect through the rest of Asia, providing a more calm and stable market environment.
People are shifting away from a China-centered mentality to a China plus one mentality. Actually, a lot of the FDI, for instance, is coming into the region, especially for ASEAN.
However, she cautioned that should any of these assumptions change, there is a risk of slippage. Meanwhile, on the ringgit, Ling said Malaysia has managed to gradually build up its foreign exchange reserves thanks to favourable capital flows. At the same time, the supportive environment has added to the recent strengthening of the ringgit against the dollar. As such, Ling said OCBC expects the ringgit to reach 4.04 against the greenback by year-end.
Entrepreneurship sector plays crucial role in helping the country to achieve 50% growth in gross domestic product (GDP) by 2030. Global Entrepreneur Exchange Chairman Kartik Siva expressed confidence the target is achievable through the adoption of correct business model and accurate target consumer by the entrepreneurs and local startup company. He explained that full attention must be given in providing products and services solutions to the consumers. This move would provide bigger opportunity for the entrepreneurs and startup companies to develop as well strengthen their competitiveness level in the interactive market.
If you want to enhance your success rate, you better find a way to differentiate yourself. And lack of differentiation, particularly in Asia, is one of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs and startups fail. I can give you many reasons, but I kind of touched on some key core reasons why entrepreneurs fail and what they need to do to minimize their failure rate and maximize their success rate.
He added that those who had failed were mostly because of lack of skills and afraid to venture new things. Now, the restoration and upgrading project for the 3B phase of Parliament building is completed and expected to be operational this March. Now, the phase comprised of office block for members of Parliament and administration and equipped with conducive facilities.
Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Muhammad Arif Mat Yusof said the facilities would optimise the work performance of members of the Parliament as well as their attendant.
Memanglah harapan kita ialah dengan wujudnya ruang-ruang yang disediakan ini, ramai yang berhormat akan berada di Parlimen dengan lebih kerap lagi, kalau lebih baik sepenuh masa persidangan dan tahap kehadiran akan meningkat. Memang itu tujuan. Kalau mereka nak lakukan riadah banyak pun ada, tenis court, badminton court, juga bilik sauna pun disediakan ya, untuk mereka bersenaman dan sebagainya. Tak perlu keluar.
The work scope for the 3B phase also include a multi-purpose hall, 2 tennis courts and exterior works to complement existing buildings. Earlier, Tan Sri Muhammad Arif witnessed the handing over of the project from Public Works Director General Kamaluddin Abdul Rashid to the Parliament's Chief Administrator Datuk Khamis Samin. The restoration and upgrading works of the Parliament building involves 6 phases, which have been started since 5 years ago.
Kento Momota leaves for Japan. Stay tuned. The world's top shuttler Kento Momota and 2 Japanese badminton officials who were injured in a road crash on Monday left for Japan today. Momota had earlier checked into a hotel near Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, after he was discharged from the Putrajaya Hospital last night.
The 3 who were wearing masks arrived at KLIA at about 8:10 a.m. They were then escorted to the VVIP room to wait for their flight, which departed for Japan at about 9:40 a.m. Also present were Badminton Association of Malaysia BAM President Datuk Sri Norza Zakaria and several other staff.
Momota was very quiet. He's anxious of leaving and going back as soon as possible. They are all, including Momota, in a very, I should say, a stable situation. And I reckon Japan BA will follow up with their medical treatment back home. After they have done a few follow-up checkups and by the doctors, things are improving significantly.
In the 4:40 a.m. incident on Monday, a van carrying Momota and 3 badminton officials crashed into the back of a lorry while on the way to KLIA, causing the van driver, B. Nageswarao, 24, died on the spot. Apart from Momota, the other 3 injured were Japanese assistant coach Yu Hirayama, 35, and physiotherapist Morimoto Akifumi, 42, and Hawkeye system operator William Thomas, 30. On Sunday, Momota won the Malaysian Masters men's singles title by beating former world champion Victor Axelsen of Denmark in the final at Axiata Arena in Bukit Jalil.
Unfortunately, time isn't on our side. Now that concludes News On 2 this evening. Now, a reminder of our top story. Police raid nets 1.5 tons of drugs worth 144.9 million. Join us again for more updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Brenda Lipal. Good night.